So here's $100,000 in gold. Now, I'm kind of being careful how loud I say that. I just took this out of one of my storage facilities and I want to get it back safely before anyone knows I have it. That's probably why 100K in gold is not as safe as you thought, because you carry it around like a jacket. Probably the last time I do it, the channel is getting a little big for my liking to be carrying around this much with me. So there's a lot of things you need to consider to determine if maybe your gold is not as safe as you thought it was. The first thing I want to talk about is insurance policies. Side note, did you know that insurance policies are premium lovers? Yeah, it's true. They do it with third parties. I saw you crack a little smile. Now, if you keep all your gold at home, you can cover it with homeowners or renter's insurance. A big downside to that is that a lot of people who store gold at their house don't want anyone to know, especially the IRS. And my personal preference would be able to store more of my gold at my house. But of course, I decided to start a YouTube channel that shows my face, so that's not something I personally do. But in a way, it's been kind of a blessing, to be honest with you, and I want to talk about that after we finish talking about insurance. Keep in mind, you may have insurance on your gold where the IRS knows about it, but that doesn't make a boating accident where you incidentally had all your gold with you any less likely. Just saying. What gold? Also, consider that if you are like me and use a storage facility or a private vault, some of them also offer insurance with their services. I even keep some in a bank safety deposit box.
What?
I know. My hardcore stackers, a bank safety deposit box is stupid, and good luck getting it out in certain times. I'll touch on that in just a second, but understand if you have a bank safety deposit box, the contents of that box is not covered by the bank's insurance. This means you have to purchase separate insurance for the items in that box. For those of you who are already commenting, if you don't hold it, you don't own it, I understand your argument. Also understand I have a different situation with my current net worth than most people and a different outlook on top of that. Precious metals for me are a safe haven in a way, but they're more of a investment diversification strategy. And I personally believe that a lot of the hypothetical situations that some of the hardcore stackers talk about where, you wouldn't be able to get your gold or silver out, if it were in a vault or a safety deposit box, a lot of these are irrelevant in many cases. Because in many of these hypothetical situations, which not to mention are extremely unlikely, gold and silver may not be as valuable as you think it is. In many of those situations, the value comes in guns, ammo, land, food, which I also have plenty of. So although I get the whole if you don't hold it, you don't own it, my gold and silver is close enough for me to get to very quickly. And if something happens where the places I keep them at are making it inaccessible, which again, I think would be really, really unlikely to happen, I have much more valuable things than gold and silver in those situations, which, depending on the situation, may not be worth anything at all if you're talking about like a Walking Dead type apocalypse situation. And for those of you who have never seen The Walking Dead, it's like this zombie virus that takes over the whole world. And basically there's no more government, no more police, basically no order in the world. Obviously it wouldn't have to be a zombie apocalypse like The Walking Dead, but just a situation like that where there's a complete breakdown of society. If you're holding gold for a situation like that, you're investing in the wrong asset. And I'll tell you that right now. Anyways, back to insurance, the premium lover, so to speak. If you're someone who implements insurance policies on your precious metals, I just want to make sure that you get it right so your gold is as safe as you think it is. So, number one, you have to decide where you're going to store it, because that will impact the type of insurance you need and, of course, the cost. Number two, whether you're doing homeowners insurance or renter's insurance, or even a specialized precious metals insurance, or a private vaulting service insurance, understand the insurance you're getting. Don't just jump right into it. This is going to include looking into things like coverage limits, deductibles, what types of losses are covered, like is theft covered, is damage, loss, what's covered, what's not, what are the exclusions and what are the conditions. By the way, excuse my voice, I'm getting over the flu, so it's all over the place. So number 3, you want to make sure you document your investments. Keep detailed records of your gold holdings, including purchase receipts and the appraisal documents, and if you can, photographs. This documentation is crucial for insurance claims and providing ownership. Number 4, if storing gold at home, invest in a high quality safe. Think, fireproof, waterproof, and consider a home security system. These measures can sometimes lower insurance premiums as well, so that's another thing to consider. And number 5, big one, review your insurance needs from time to time. And this is where a lot of people make mistakes. As the value of their precious metals go up, their coverage may not be adequate with the new value. So make sure to review your insurance coverage as you add more gold and or as the value goes up. And lastly, be aware of any legal and tax implications related to owning and insuring gold. This is especially important if your holdings are significant. Like we talked about earlier, there's this big argument for keeping all your gold at home because if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And look, if it wasn't for my YouTube channel, I would definitely hold some of my precious metals at home. But in a way, this has been a blessing in disguise for me. I know myself, and if it wasn't for this channel, I would probably actually hold most of my precious metals at home for convenience, and it would probably give me a lot of anxiety. Top of the line security system, I would be somewhat uneasy about it. And most people who keep their precious metals at home keep all of it at home. And it seems like a good idea at first, but if you think about it, there's actually a lot more that can go wrong rather than splitting up your holdings. I personally have a couple different private vaults and a couple bank safety deposit boxes. Now, optimal situation would be that and some home storage, as that is more diversification. But I've pretty much eliminated the home storage for myself outside of some fractional coins. Those of you keeping it all of it at home, I have some questions for you though. How safe is it really? The less people that know, the better, but let's be honest here. Almost all of us holding this stuff right here have a bare minimum of one person who knows about our holdings. In my case, I have thousands. Even if you have a fireproof and waterproof safe, how high quality is it? Are you sure it can withstand a major fire or flood? You better be, because most of you 100% holdings at home people have no insurance policies. Let's be honest about it. What if it's a fire that evacuates your area for weeks? Would you be cool with that? Or a hurricane that floods the area with evacuations for weeks? Is that okay with you? How does that sound for 100% home storage? My opinion is that a diversified storage option is really the safest option for your gold and silver. And look, for some of you, that may mean moving at least partially away from this whole if you don't hold it, you don't own it mindset. I can tell you that having a multi-location storage plan is most comfortable for me. And I don't worry about not being able to get to it because in most cases, if a situation like that happens, we have bigger fish to fry. And I have my ducks in a row for a situation like that. Because if SHTF or hits the fan, for those of you who don't know the terminology, I will be ready whether my gold is physically at my home or not. I just want my hardcore stackers to be very careful of falling too deep into the if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Because in the end, you could be doing yourself a major disservice. Realistically, there's very few situations likely to happen these days where you aren't going to be able to get to a storage facility or a safety deposit box. The private vault and storage facility is definitely the better option of the two, but I do like adding the safety deposit box for diversification. My safety deposit box just has less than my vault storage. You really have to weigh out the risk of each plan on your own, but I've become pretty strong against having all my holdings at home, especially if you have the amount of holdings I do, because this is just a small portion of it. If you're on the lower amount, sure, it could make sense. But as you grow, I encourage you to diversify your storage.
Because it's the right thing to do.
And keep in mind, this advice is coming from a dumbass who already broke the first rule of precious metals investing, and that is, don't let anyone know about your investments. I guess my argument would be that at least I put myself in a position to have this much precious metals. Oh, so chauvinistic of me. Weigh your risk, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to hear from all of you. What is your preference for storage? Also, let's go over what I have in front of me. All right, so what we have here are some 1 ounce American Eagles. Okay, beautiful coin. We have 15 of them here of the American Eagles. We have 11 of the half ounce American Eagles. We have 8 of the quarter ounce American Eagles. We have a 10 ounce Pamp Suisse gold bar. This is my mama bar here. Right, there's Lady Fortuna, I should say. Right, nice and thick bar there. Here's just a bar, 1 ounce. It's outside of its packaging. We got 3 Pamps here, the most common bar there is. Here we got some random ones. We got Perth Mint here. I love this Perth Mint bar. Really beautiful bar. We got a couple Moon's Ostrich here. One is 30 ounce. I'm sorry, one is 50 ounce, one is 10 ounce. And then we have a custom 007 bar here, which is also 1 ounce. All right. And then lastly, we have a Canadian Maple Leaf. This one should really be in a capsule because it's 24 karat. I've just been lazy with it. We have a Gold Buffalo, same thing. This should really be in a capsule because it's 24 karat. We have the Australian Gold Swan, also 1 ounce. We have a Bitcoin one, a little custom. And then we have, lastly, this line one, got Česká Republika. Pretty cool in there. So there it is. This is what $100,000 in gold looks like. Again, look, I want to hear from you. Did I help open up your eyes to other options today? If not, totally fine. My goal is to keep your precious metals safe, but also to help you get a peace of mind. I can tell you sometimes a peace of mind is way more valuable than any money amount, and I can tell you that firsthand. But again, comment below any preferences, feedback, love, hate, whatever. We love hearing from you guys. Subscribe. Got more coming soon.